that there are so many things happening around the globe. We know situations have changed, nature has changed, people are changing. I'm going to visualize first all those souls that I'm responsible for in this lifetime. Emerge them in your mind. And ask yourself this question: am I happy with my relationship with them? Or is there something that I wish that I have said or did for them? Check with every soul. Are you contented with your relationship with them? Or is there something more that you wish that you would do or that you would have done? It is very important for me right now to look at each and every relationship I'm having at this moment and to check, have I done my best? Have I given my best? If right now this is the last breath that I'm gonna have, what are my thoughts? Are there any regrets that I'm holding? Or am I proud with the life that I've lived? Have I made all these souls independent so that when I'm not around, their life still continues? They may miss me for a short while, but they will be able to continue with their life. Have I made them independent to that extent? This is a preparation. I need to start from now because I don't know what's gonna in store for me in future and what is in store for all the souls around me. I want to make my best of this present time that I have so that when the end time comes, I'm able to leave this body with a lot of lightness and pride that I have lived my life to the best of my ability. And I have given everyone to the best of my ability. And so I have no complaints, no regrets, only satisfaction. In today's session, I'm going to learn how I can accommodate myself with people without losing my identity. How can I accept people the way they are and allowing that love and that acceptance to inspire them to change in its own time without me expecting for a fruit immediately. It's a beautiful art that I'm going to learn today. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
So like I shared, it's very important for us to prepare for anything that has to come. It's not a subject that we can avoid anymore. If this was before, many years before, we could have felt, well, why are we talking about end time? There's still time. Or we say, well, they are still young. Nothing would happen to them. It's only older people that need to think about end time or think about death or departure. But I think now it's possible for anyone. It's possible for me. It's possible for anyone. It's a topic that really needs a lot of attention because it's better to be prepared than to be sorry. And it's better to make use of my present time, which is the only thing that I have in my hand right now, and do the best and to give the best. Because at the end of the day, if right now whatever seems like a big deal, a big issue, but at the end of the day, none of this matters anymore. I could feel very silly. Why did I make that a big deal when it's really not a big deal? And so today we're going to learn that art, how to adjust, how to accommodate without losing my individuality, but also being able to accept the individuality of the other soul and not trying to make them comply to my demands or to my perceptions. It's very important now. So I'm going to give it to Jayshree Ben to first share with us the ideology behind this power. She will share with us, and then after that, we can share. And if you have any questions, you're most welcome to type it in the chat box, and we'll address that towards the end. So Jayshree Ben, you are on the spotlight.
Which I don't want to be, but well, I want to share things with people, so I had to be. All right. So here you go. Have you, like I said, the powers all work in conjunction. So when you are working on the fourth power, power to accommodate, we have to have knowledge of three other powers to begin with. So you have the first power to withdraw, right? Basically, that's to protect yourself. So whatever you're gonna do is you're gonna not harm yourself. Spirituality in nutshell is to protect yourself and enhance yourself without any damage. And that's why I call spirituality is being smart. So here, only thing we are doing is being smart. And once we know that we are being smart, things become easy because you are not doing it for anybody else. You are not doing to be cocky, to think that, oh, I'm better than others. You are not doing for, because that's going to all create sukshma arrogance, minute, sukshma ahankar, minute arrogance. And so once you realize the benefits of these powers, and when you want to utilize these powers, is only for our own benefits. So that's when it starts becoming easier and easier. And that's when we start using yoga, meditation as tools to get there. And once you start reaping the benefits, you don't want to turn around, believe me. It's such an enjoying path that in the beginning, people may think it's boring. You are not gossiping, you are not doing this. It's a boring path. But enjoy and experiment. So what they say about spirituality is that there is no proof. And we all are so much into the science and different things that we, without the proof, we don't want to believe in anything. So what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and experiment. So they say there is no proof that you cannot do it in the laboratory or anything for what we do for the physical things. So in that department, in the spirituality, what we have to do is experiment. And experimenting on our own selves will make you the best believer out of it. So, and there is no harm. It's a toll-free road. You don't pay any toll. So that's why, try it out, experiment it out. Lucky people will get the knowledge. Those who make an attempt to come here is already lucky. Not only in this one, but in any department, not with us, but in general, that your interest in yoga and spirituality is already putting you on the path of going there. Now you have a choice to experiment. Once you experiment, then you will see that's your biggest proof you can get. So power to withdraw, we went over it. The video, YouTube video is out. Even the lectures are out on the YouTubes. So you guys can go into detail or go in my 8 Spiritual Power Concise video. You'll learn the steps. You will go over them again, which we discussed in details, and then start protecting yourself. That's the very first morning, no harm done. In medical field, being a doctor, that's first thing they teach us when we take the oath, that ever be on the harm's way, right? So you want to do that same thing to you. Emotional quotient decides your physical health. So you want to protect yourself, and that's where you use the power to withdraw. Okay, there are steps we discussed. Please refer to them as we go. Then there is a power to let go. So we are not sitting on any ill feelings, any ill incidences, or any situations which is holding on our potential to do the best. We want to travel light like angels. Why do the angels fly? They say because they are light. That's why they can fly, right? So you pack up all those things, move around, and then let go that. Then we learn power to tolerate. What did we learn in power to tolerate? Is it actually a tolerance? Misnomer, right? Wrong connotation. What is it? It's power to give. Power to enjoy giving. And when do you start doing that? When again you realize that you are at the benefit of doing it. What is the benefit? When you say, thank God for the opportunity that I can help somebody, or I can take care of somebody, or I can stay with somebody or do something, or not let the situation bother us. So that when you start looking at it as an opportunity, if somebody asks for help, then you start giving. Once you start giving, you start feeling and experimenting the joy of it. And that's when you start power to tolerate. and you become Jagatamba, right? So now to the power to accommodate, having learned all those three powers, we move on to the power to accommodate, because we know how to power to tolerate. We are not holding on anything by power to let go. Plus, while we are exercising this, we have protected ourselves with the first power, right? So power to accommodate is like Santoshima, power to content. Santoshima has a bowl of rice in her hand, and the rice grains are all separate, but they are still together and becomes a rice, right? But each grain is different, and each grain shows its individuality. So that's what the the symbol of the power to accommodate. So anytime you think of that, always think of bowl of rice and Santoshima. They'll help you a little bit also in doing that. So what is exactly the power to accommodate? Power to accommodate is not just go ahead and, okay, somebody can stay with me or just sit in the same chair in sofa we share. That's the physical accommodation, right? What's an accommodation at the emotional level? That's what we have to think about. Think about river. All the rivers are going into the ocean. And when they go into the ocean, they dump all the different things they collected in their own pathway. But ocean takes every rivers, whatever they bring. Whatever each river brings to the ocean, and that's what you want to be. It's like being a power of being ocean. How does it help? Because sometimes river may bring a lot of fertile soil, fertile things, a lot of different things. Same thing in group living. A lot of times we think living in the group is very difficult, right? Because everybody has different things. So this is where you want to exercise your power to accommodate. Why would you do that? Because you learn. You learn from them different ideas. They bring their different ideas. Maybe you are sold to your own idea. Have you given a chance to explore the other idea? That's how you become enhanced. Somebody brings different patterns, different art, different flavor, different kind of all the different things they may have. They all may come with the garbage. They may not, they may feel like that they are insulting you. They want to only push their point across. They will come all with that. But don't forget, they're bringing a point that we never knew, or we did not, we tentatively, at that time, we just ignored it. Now, if you look at only the good part of that, and then not look at what they bring along with it, some people may be pushy in putting their point across. Who cares for the pushiness? That's their sanskars. What we get is what point they brought. You share the ideas, you gather, you learn from everybody. No, 500, even though I've been teaching for 12, 13 years yoga, I don't mind taking any yoga class given to me, anyone. I would never think I know. I would also look for that. Actually, my mother taught me that always, no matter how much recipes you know, even if you know that you've done it 500 times, if somebody's doing it, listen, look, maybe you'll find something small that doesn't lower your image, that, oh, you don't even know how to make this much. Just like that. So you openness, listening to others, sharing with them, and accommodating them in your field of vision, the context goes up so big. And that's what the power to accommodate. You look for the benefits. That's the spirituality. When do you look for the benefits? When you are selfish, you want to look and make yourself better. Not interested in how it came, where it came from, just like river. River brings so many things. You look for the pearls, you look for the things. And then you, because you have already power to withdraw, you are understanding their point of view. You're protecting yourself. If that particular person had any kind of scenario with you in the past, you have let it go. You are tolerating because you are in a giving mood. When you are in a giving mood, accommodation becomes easier. So these powers work in conjunction. Now there is a journalist who's Neville, very nice journalist. He had written a lot of things on this during my research of the powers. He says that sometimes if you think the power to accommodate is in the way to becoming public pleasing, no, we are not doing it to please the public. It's not a public pleasing event. Why? Okay, whatever she says, I accommodate. I cannot say back to them because I have learned all these powers. Now, how can I? So then the third, fourth, fifth power, sixth power, seventh power are still there. It's going to teach us how to discern. And how do you get the power to discern, which is the next power, which we'll do next week? How do you discern? That's how you will learn. Then you will decide and face, and then you will stand up for the right things. You won't be just people pleasing and do wrong things. You won't be going into the peer pressure of all those things. And you'll be still contented because your goal is to learn. Your goal is to expand. Your goal is to make your context so huge and big like ocean. And when you have that goal in the mind, accommodation becomes so easy. Your big heart makes it easy to put everybody in that. You are not having a small constricting heart where you are just limiting few people in your life. You have so many people around you, and you are open and loveful to every single person, every single situation. Power to accommodate has a lot to do with power to accept, right? It's power to adjust, power to accept. Why? Because your main goal is there, that I am going to be benefited somehow or other. And only thing I'm looking for that. And when the goal is that I want to enhance myself, enrich myself, and use other people's ideas. They always say, right, the two brains are better than one. And if you shut the other person off because you are worried about that person creating a chaos during your discussion or during your things in your meetings or somewhere, oh, don't get that particular person because it's going to create a chaos. Or that particular person, I cannot live with that particular person. Why? Because we are ignoring all those things. We are not thinking about that. We are not in a people pleasing business. That's not why we are bringing. We have an ultimate motive of being better. That particular person may have something which will help you, because two brains are always better than. We have not seen so many unseen values which that person may have seen. Why are we all here and discussing this? Because we are sharing what I have seen, what unseen values I have seen. And I just want to make sure you see that way so that you enrich. Now you may have some of your own which you share with us. When you have an openness, there is nobody being judged, nobody. Then they open up. They have to be good and they'll bring to their best potential and make whatever you're doing the maximum. We have a nice meditation group. We meditate every day at 9:30. By the way, anybody is invited. Anybody can join. And anytime I want to reach out and ask something, I write it to them in the meditation group. Everybody pitches in to help. Everybody. Such a use of power to accommodate. How can we isolate ourselves and be like a cook bandukta? Like a frog lives in a little water, doesn't come out of the well, does not know about the world. So we go out and learn so many news. We listen to a lot of news channels. We go to the lot of books. We talk to other people. To what? Because not only we enjoy, but what are we actually enjoying? Sharing and learning. We don't realize that. That's a very unseen value. Unless somebody has something to contribute, we may not like that company that much. But when do we start thinking that they're contributing? When we are only looking for the betterness in them. We are understanding, we are giving to them. All the love and blessings comes from power to tolerate. Now they are open. We are open. Now they are going to bring their own talent, their own potential on the table. How much rich are you now? Don't we want to be richer? We want to be richer than what we are. And we can be rich in ideas, art, camera, anything, even in the health tips, even in the cooking tips, anywhere. If we want to be rich, if we want to be, even money-wise, If you want to be rich, you want the good. Why do the Googles hire the best people? Why do they give enough time for them to rest? Why do they have all the facilities in their own facilities? So their minds are fresh and their potential is higher. One person cannot do anything. I mean, not everything, right? So what we want is collective effort. And we make this whole collective. The meditation done collectively brings lots of collective vibrations. We don't see that. We don't know that. It takes time to see, but experiment. That's the only way to know, is experiment. Then your kindness will open up. You will open up. You have exercise, and then you will have a joy of using these powers. And in conjunction, they work to the best, and the engine runs so beautifully. Sister Vino, what do you have to say before we move?
This is one power that I probably have used more than other powers. Power to accommodate. I can think of one incident. Recently, it happened actually yesterday. I don't know if I've ever mentioned to you in any of these classes, Thursday classes before, but one of the biggest fear that I probably carried with me from, I think, from my past birth is the fear of driving. And even though I was driving for a year in Malaysia, but I know how much that feeling, it felt. And then when I came here, and when I, took my first driving class many years ago, maybe about 12, 13 years ago, and I'm already, I already have that fear. But when I got a little temperamental instructor, it sort of enforced it further. And I sort of kept it in the back burner. I felt like, okay, I'll get to it, but I postponed it for far too long in my life. And it's been, 17 years now. I'm here in the USA. And I just realized that if at any time, and this has been a practice that I've been doing for a while now, that just preparing for the end and preparing the mindset that if this is my last day today, do I have any regrets? I keep checking every day. Is there something that I wish I'd done and faced and finished it, and so that I don't have to carry that guilt to my end of days? So I just strongly told myself this year that this is one weakness that I will finish it this year. And so deliberately, even though there was a lot of, anxiousness and fear, but I, called up the driving school, made appointments. Actually, one of the students helped me to, find a good driving school here around the center. And then I spoke to the instructor. We made appointments. Then the first day when he came, and they come and pick you up they came to pick me up from my center. He he had that same, it reminded me of that original instructor that I had, the temperamental type. And I said, here we go, history repeats. And then and being I wouldn't want to say clean, but I gave a very high emphasis to cleanliness. And when I sat in the car, there was all kinds of smell. There was smell of sweat and meat and God knows all kinds of smell, and the car was quite messy. Then I told myself, no, you've taken the determination that you're going to overcome this weakness. So if this person is going to be the instrument to help you overcome this weakness, then so be it. So I sat in the car, and being the first day, he was nice, and he was just observing how I'm driving. And he was quite surprised that, you have not driven for more than 10 years and I expected you to be worse, but you're actually good. But after that, he was like in the phone and was just, with his tone very high and he was talking. And then when I would make like some small mistakes, he would raise his voice, he would get upset and irritated. And all of this was happening. But I just told, I spoke to myself that, I'm going to overcome this. And this is it. This is it. I'm not going to run away. And I kept Baba in front of me. And I said, Baba, you are with me and you are driving this. You are holding this steering. You are with me. And whenever he would get frustrated and he would, raise his voice, it's like, you shouldn't turn this way. Speed is very slow. This is not right. How come you don't know this? When he would just raise his voice, I wouldn't say anything to him, but I kept telling myself, you are doing good. Go ahead. No problem. You are doing good. Go ahead. I kept telling myself. So of course, he didn't say at that time, but we had like 3 sessions together. And then after that, he asked, are you ready for exam? I said, okay. I said, well, if you feel I'm ready for the exam, then okay. So he booked the appointment at DMV. So we went for the exam yesterday. And just the day before, the day before yesterday was Wednesday. So on Tuesday, I was sitting with Baba and I said, okay, Baba, tomorrow's the day I'm going to face again that whole situation. But this time, because of probably the meditations that I've done, in all these years, when I sat in front of Baba on Tuesday, I felt very assured. I felt like this is it. I'm definitely getting it. And I was even having this, image in front of me that I've got my license. And I felt like Baba was telling, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I was very calm. And the next day, morning, he came. He was more nervous than me, my instructor. He was sitting and he said, do you remember this? You remember this? He kept on repeating. And then I just, And I wasn't intimidated. I'm quite surprised now as I think back how was my condition yesterday. I was actually very calm. Then we reached DMV and my permit actually expired, but there's a new rule that came because DMV was not open during COVID, so they extend your permit for 6 months. So I went there, I showed my permit, to sit for my exam. And then the counter lady was screaming. She was like, oh, you can't drive with an expired permit. You need to renew. How come you didn't renew? So my instructor also didn't know about the new rule. So then they sent me to another booth, and then there they were renewing, and then they said, well, you can't drive today. You have to, come back and make your appointment. So all of these staffs, they were arguing about this new rule, and all of this was happening, and I was waiting for like more than an hour, going back and forth between different booths. And I felt, okay, whatever that has to happen, let it happen. I was still calm. And then after that, from a distance, because, I'm wearing white sari and wearing badge. And so from a distance, there was one man. He was looking and then he approached me. And then he asked the staffs, well, what's wrong? What happened? So they were just telling about, they were just sharing. And then the man looked at me and I just looked at him, both our eyes met. And he told the staff that, renew her permit and she will drive today. She will take her exam. She will not go back and come back again. And he told the staffs that, it should be free for her. Don't charge her anything. Because one was, it was delayed time. And second, they didn't charge for for anything. So I went, sent in the car, and then the test instructor, he came and he sat, and I looked at him, he looked at me, and then he was giving his instructions, and I drove. And the whole time I saw Baba in front of me when I was driving. I just saw the light, and it felt like Baba was guiding me, and I was calm. And I didn't even realize test was over, parked the car, and then the instructor said, I've never seen a driver as calm as you. And because you are calm, I was so calm. I wasn't even terrified because usually I'm quite attentive and when I'm sitting with new drivers, but you were so calm. And so I felt so calm. And I'm surprised test is over. I said, well, so am I. I'm surprised test is over. So he left and I got the license. And now I look back, yes, I truly understand now what power to accommodate is. You know, it's I feel like deep down inside that when I have a particular goal, and that goal is not about, being cunning through, to achieve my goal through people, but really the real goal that we have with people is winning relationships, not winning arguments, not winning priorities, but winning the heart. And to be able to win somebody's heart, as Jayshree shared, it's not about pleasing. It's not about letting go of my principles and my self-respect behind and trying to do something that that person like. No, it's not about that. Power to accommodate comes when I actually prioritize my principles, prioritize my self-respect, but also understanding the personality and the feelings of the other soul, and understand that people are not intentionally bad. They could be helpless. And if I'm able to understand that, then I would be able to accommodate with their, some people say nonsense, but I wouldn't want to use that word nonsense, but I would really want to use the word weaknesses. We don't intentionally want to have certain weaknesses in our life, but I don't know how to work with it. And I'm so used to being that way. I just don't know another way of how to deal people or things. And that's how people are going about with their life. But then I don't want to go about, feeling a victim, feeling intimidated, feeling nervous because people that I'm dealing with are nervous themselves, are upset themselves, and I'm taking in that energy. No, I don't want to live my life like that. If now is the last day and I'm living like that, I'm not going to be happy. So, power to accommodate means that we accept each other's shortcomings, we accept each other's weaknesses, but we don't allow that weakness to surpass the importance of the relationship. At the end of the day, I want to be able to love them. At the end of the day, I want to be able to have a good relationship with them. That matters. And for that, first I have to probably put aside my expectations and ask, so what? If they are being that way, so what? I will be this way because I want to be this way. So that's a good question to ask. If they're like that, so what? So that's one sharing that I have. And that's actually a quite a long question that came about in the chat box, which I can, shall I read right now, Jayshree?
Okay.
Shall I read the question?
Okay. If you want to already take the questions, if we are done discussing, are we? because I can share a few more things before we take the
Okay.
questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah, let me spotlight you just.
My main approach to the whole spirituality has been so clear in my mind that we are only doing this for ourselves. Once we realize that it's only for ourselves, the powers become easier and then knowledge will start coming. If your motive is to grow, I would consider power to accommodate is power to grow. Because you grow with so many people and so many people's thinking ideas, if you keep yourself limited to their shortcomings, your horizon is not big enough. If you don't have a broader picture in the mind, like sister said, when said that you want to keep the relationship in mind with a little bit of tidbits here or there, or putting a blame on it, not taking accountability of anything happening, and other people are the reason of your problem. If we start thinking like that, we are into very narrow vision. We are not being smart. As if you apply your knowledge to being smart, there is nothing else you can do than to accommodate, because that's the only way you're going to grow. Like if you are in the garden, the plant is growing, you're nurturing, you are giving them the fertilizer, you're giving them the things what you need to. But if one of the leaves catches the bug, there's some things which and starts eating then plant cannot function with the photosynthesis, because all the leaves cannot give the light and the nutrition it needs to grow. What happens, right? Same thing. If you want to grow, you not only want to eat but you want to nurture by every different ways. Not just because of the weather, not just because you have a seed. Also, different people are like fertilizer. They fertilize you for you to grow. You don't want those bugs which hurt you, which are the jealousy, greed, different powers, different agendas, judgmental, thinking about what they are doing to me, and narrowing your focus and take it away from the broader focus. Like what did Gandhiji say, right? Once that there was a letter full of bad words to him. What did he take? Just take the little pin and put it on his pin cushion. And he didn't pay attention to the letter, which had all the bad words. I'm sure we all, especially when we are more into the leadership roles in anything you do in your life, there will be more people pointing out the mistakes. Not always because they mean well, bad, not because they are always jealous, their point of angle and different things and different sanskars. Why do we have to even go into the nitty-gritty of what that they did? That drains our energy. Again, not being smart. If you pay attention to other people, what they are doing, judgmental, how they are doing, what they are doing, not important. We have to learn where is my benefit. And that's all the spirituality is about. And when you start learning the benefits, you'll be more and more and more in giving more, because you'll be in debt with everything. Every single human being gives you something. So you are in debt. So you are in the giving mode to return the benefits to them for whatever they taught us. So anytime you are upset or situation brings you upsetness, right? Immediately think, if it is related to past, definitely use your power to let go, right? Protect yourself with the power to withdraw. But then realize, what contribution did I get from that? And that is only going to bring you gratitude, attitude of gratitude. And that's what makes it more beneficial, growth. That's where the growth potential. So a power to accept is a small part of power to accommodate. Accommodate is becoming like an ocean. And accommodate everybody, which everybody will have their own points for me to grow. I'm not interested in what it's going to not bring. Why would I deplete my energy in thinking that, right? Energy does not ever grow in numbers. We know that. Principles of physics tell us that. So wherever attention goes, energy flows. You're depleting your energy into that. So get what you can from everybody. Get everything, just like you get a pin from the pin cushion. Get everything. Don't let those bugs get to your growth. Those jealousy, power. So you be open, be frank, be flexible. Of course, you don't want to be flexible in your principles. Like somebody said that go ahead and have many glasses of alcohol, and if you are not drinking, you're not going to be flexible there. With certain principles of your lives, you don't become flexible. But that doesn't mean we look at judgmentally for the people who drink. Maybe lack of knowledge, maybe lack of their thinking, their point of view different. As far as you don't carry negative charges for the people who do what you do not like to do, there will not be any harmful effect on your body. You are accepting them. So that becomes the power to that makes your power to accommodate easy. But look at the broader picture, what you're getting the benefit of. And that's what I really believe that power to, the spirituality is teaching us those unseen values where we learn how to be smart. So once you have that thing in your mind, only thing happens is that you allow yourself to grow. Because the broader picture is being smart, being beneficial to yourself, saving your energy for doing something better. And once you have all those things, only thing happens from you coming out is the blessings and giving to other people. And that will bring you a lot of blessings. And your happiness level goes up so high. Your serotonin level goes up because it goes up with the service, right? But we need to have Gnan for that. So I thank you all for coming here, because that's what we can do. Share a little bit of Gnan we have while we are also getting from you at the same time. So always look at it positively, not because you are a positive person, because you want to learn. Once you think I'm a positive person, then your minor arrogance comes. Then you think, oh, I'm better than the other. And that's not what you want to translate. You don't want to radiate that. You want to only radiate a very eager, curious student who wants to grow to her or his maximum potential. And that's how we look at the spirituality. Then we will not have those minute arrogance. We'll be accountable for what we did wrong and get better, because our goal is to always be better. And that's how the powers, you can use those powers. Like I showed you in the power to tolerate, it's an opportunity to show the goodness. And that's why it becomes easy. Because if nobody asks you, nobody do anything for anybody, then how are you going to be good? If somebody gets mad at you all the time and you stay quiet, not because you are better or not, it's because you have an opportunity to give somebody's in pain. If that particular person in pain, and if you are in pain, you cannot help them, right? Same thing. You allow yourself to grow by giving and understanding other people's pain and thanking God for every opportunity you get to help out people, to share out people. Like today, I have an opportunity to sit with Sister Vino and share my knowledge. I'm so ultimately grateful. Those kind of feelings will accommodate. I will not think, oh, Sister Vino is better than me. She's talking better, and people are thinking she's better than me. Oh, I'm doing the lecture, right? That is such a, diminishing energy, depleting your energy. You work on the low focus. But instead, what did I learn from Sister Vino? What did I? And then she will be sharing. Same thing happens anywhere you go. We all get intertangled, even in the temple, while they are doing services. They don't like another person doing more service because they want to get more credit. See, the whole goal is different. The goal is not to get credit, because you are always going to be happy and credit will be given to you if you are radiating the love and blessings. And you won't even need it because you are full of those things. People keep giving you those. And that's when you start growing. And once you start growing, you come in a divine touch. And that's where the next 4 powers will come. Because then we start getting into divine. The divine, like Vinoben says, that Baba is with me. That's the divine love is going to be with you. But you don't experience unless you practice the powers. And then you experiment, then you will have the proof. Spirituality can never be proven in scientific way, in the experiments of the science, in a physical way. It can only be proven by self-experimentation. Okay, so that's what I would like to say. I'm ready to take questions, yes.
So there's one question. It says, one of my close relatives has multiple medical issues. I have taken care of my brother for 20 years. But now I'm not feeling good, and he's very non-compliant with his diabetes. He still eats junk food and cannot control diabetes. As much as I want to accept his individuality, I'm upset because if he is on his path for more health complications and I cannot take care of him, which makes me sad and guilty and angry. Please advise.
You want to take it first, sister?
No, you can take it first and then I will follow.
Okay. So diabetes is a medical disease, right? We want him to be better. We want him to, same thing happens in my house too. A lot of times, you know, your lifestyle is different than the other people's lifestyles. We think our lifestyle is better than the others. And they are your loved ones. And you want them to change. We want them to really change and do things. What do we have to do to change them? The only way you can do is radiate the positivity, the love. And the only way, it looks far-fetched, but it's not. It's just once you start becoming judgmental, once you start becoming, oh, he's not going to do it. If you have that negative affirmation in your mind, he's not going to do it. I've told him many times. That is the number one killer of him not doing it. But if you want somebody to change, positive affirmations, which hard to believe for me in the beginning, I'm trying to experiment that. And we are working on a project, launching a project of doing affirmations. They may look like outrightly lie that, oh, he's such a nice guy. He's really following his lifestyles. He's working towards his diabetes. His diabetes is gone. All those look like the lies, right? So how? That's what we have to experiment. This is the spirituality where I would say that experiment. And how do you experiment that? By creating positive affirmation. Don't think at all. Try experiment. He's not going to change according to what you say, right? So what are you going to do? You have done what you can in your power, what you know right now. What do you have to lose? Nothing. So it's a toll-free business, right? So what you're going to do in the toll-free thing? What do you want to do? You lie to yourself. Okay, say, he's a very good, his diabetes is gone, he's doing such a good thing. Experiment with this. You know why? Because during this process, that's what I've started learning, how the affirmations must be working. Sister Shivani is very big on that affirmations are working so beautifully. She has experimented herself. I have not yet done it. And being in medical field, it's not scientifically seen or experimented. So for me to do the spiritual experiment, you know, I have to do it until so that we can believe it, right? Because our mind is so scientific that unless things are proven, we don't believe. So this is one affirmation study I want to launch on, and you be the part of it. And there's no harmful thing in here. It's totally a toll-free road. So what you do is say, he has a beautiful lifestyle. He's a very nice soul. He's a powerful soul. And his diabetes is not there. And I wonder how come you lying will help. Okay. So, you know, this is what I think. Little bit understanding has started kicking in me. I'm still going to experiment. But I think the reason it works is the time when you are saying these things to yourself. And in affirmation thing, you have to do this periodically. You start with that in the beginning, you bring that particular soul in front of you, okay, and talk about it. Like, he's not diabetic, his diabetes is gone. He's a very healthy person. He's a very good lifestyle, right? It looks total lie, but one thing you cannot do is doubt. Okay, while you're experimenting, you know, there are certain principles when you experiment, do some studies, right? So a lot of studies happen in the medical field. They cannot go ahead. They have some guidelines. They cannot just haphazardly do it, right? So even if we launch the study on affirmation, one guideline is you cannot go ahead and create the doubt. That one thing you cannot. Don't think that you're lying. I think slowly, because we are made out of thoughts. Completely we are made out of our thoughts. So if our thoughts start replacing the negative thoughts, at least they are being replaced. So it's like a recording which is there into when you play the cassette player or whatever, that recording starts recording another song on it. And that song is, he's healthy, he's nice, he's doing whatever he wants to say. He's a very powerful soul. And we all are. That's why Power to Accommodate works so beautifully. Because everybody is a powerful soul. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has those 7 qualities. They all have 5 folders, but one folder is common, is the our spiritual, our inside quality of our soul. Everybody else has all the other 4 folders, totally different, right? One day we'll talk about folders. But so that you are replacing your recording with a recording which is positive, which is how you want the reality to be. And that recording will slowly go over the previous recording of he's not listening, he's not doing, I've tried my best. That record. Then what happens? I think that may start radiating. The negative is being replaced and will start radiating that positive. And there is a science there which we don't know yet. The vibrations have so much science. That's why some studies which are done here or there, that people in Paris could hear the person in Greece, or I think some 2 countries. Totally, absolutely no connection with the technology. Zero connection. Just mere vibrations. And sometimes you'll see that, you know what, I had an instinct and somebody calls you. Telepathy, right? So that does exist. It needs to be experimented. So be the part of this affirmation study, and at least right now, start doing those affirmations. Keep bringing to your mind what it is, what you want, not what it is. When you have a doubt is when you think about what it is, but that's not what the affirmation is. Affirmation is what you want to be. And once you have that part there, then you see the miracles will happen. I am hopeful. I don't know yet. Okay, I don't know yet. And that's why we want to do the study. But why don't we study our own, make our own affirmation? There are many situations we want to start doing it by the time we come with the complete criteria of doing this, an experiment. Because it's going to replace the old recording during the time when you have a new recording. And slowly that those vibrations he will think, not being judgmental, he will not feel down about himself, because they are usually void of something, because everybody wants to get better. He knows people who are addiction, they want to, even the small addictions like drinking tea or something, that also has some void in them. That's why they take the ashra of something like that. They want to go and take a shelter of something because they're missing out something in their lives. And that's what you will try to get rid of, the void slowly, because he won't feel low about himself or herself. And then he knows that what he has to do for the diabetes. He knows. He doesn't need an advice or lecture. You can help, but the best help you can do is by not sending the negative vibrations. Negative in the sense, judgmental type, non-acceptance type. And create the reality you want. Experiment. And I would definitely think, I will be surprised, and I want to really prove that she's Shivani, what she's saying, and she has experimented. I want to feel that too, and see how the affirmations work. And there will be such a beautiful science, we can tap into that. Besides our medical science, this will be so many good sciences where you can take care of the diseases. And that's how come stage 4 cancer sometimes survive. And some 80-90% of the time their mortality rate is very high. They're gonna pass. Only why? But it's not zero. That's what makes me think, how come the advanced cancer, it should be zero, everybody should die. How come not? Why? In any disease. Those are the miracles which happen. That's where it happens. That's where it happens. That their affirmations are very positive. Their own emotional quotient is pretty heavy. Even though it looks down, but something is in there of them which is keeping the longevity going up. And that's where they survive. So try that. I'm very, very hopeful. Diabetes is a very small thing relatively compared to what a lot of people go through. Okay. And then have that reality. Think about that in the morning, in the evening, every time you eat, and possibly if you can every hour, just for a few minutes. That no, he is very good. He's not diabetic. His diabetes is gone. He's a very powerful soul. He has a great willpower. And we have a best relationship, and I have a best, whosoever is it, brother, sister, or family, and the best in the relationship. And we have a disease-free family. Those kind of affirmations, without any doubt. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. It looks very impossible on the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. Believe me, after a month or two, it'll be different. Right? What do you say, Sister Vino?
Okay. So basically, there is after that, the same soul wrote that I'm not judgmental, but just physically, I may not be able to help him. I'm not trying to change him, but to find an answer what I should do. So just coming back to what you have shared in the chat box, I think personally, I can understand deep inside you would want the soul to be independent. Deep inside, you want the soul to be able to take care of themselves so that when you are not around, the soul can still carry on and the soul is not completely, doesn't shatter completely if you're not around. It's a good feeling. It's definitely a good bhavna that you're having. And yes, you also shared one side that you're probably a little maybe exhausted. Um, because caring for someone for 20 years, it's I would definitely understand. Yes, you have a good bhavna, but I can feel that probably would have taken a toll on you also. And so personally, I think referring back to what Jayshree Ben have shared, that we can only do so much for someone. And another part is they would also need to play their share, their role in this. And if a soul who have already got used to you being there for them and taking care of them, pretty much that they have physically and emotionally got dependent on you, and they would feel that whatever happens to them, that you are there, to support. And so, and also another aspect that we don't realize this thing, that we are actually quite attracted to the very thing that we're allergic to. We are quite attracted to the very thing that is detrimental to us. And we get into the temptation and we do it. And then maybe later we regret. But then when the temptation come again, we do it and then we regret. But at the back of the mind, we feel that there is somebody there to fall onto, right? And so this is where remember I was sharing that we all need to prepare for our end time. And that also includes that whoever I have been or I am responsible for in this present life, in this present time, I need to make them independent so that, again, that they are able to be on their own feet, they're able to defend themselves and take care of themselves when I'm not around. And this is where you can start, that if there are ways where you had, that you had been there for them, for that soul, now it's the time you probably can share with them, that you can have a heart-to-heart conversation with them, and not coming from a point of emotional talk, but really having a very practical talk with that soul. It helps actually. It can help when you share, but without emotions, without feeling burdened, without anger, but just a practical talk about letting them know the reality, in sense that maybe you can try telling them, I have cared for you this years because I truly love you, and I want to see you living a good life, not a life of pain or suffering, but I would want you to also feel the same way for you. When I'm not around, you should be able to take care of yourself. And in order for you to take care of yourself, then you need to take care of yourself now. Because if you get sick and if you are, you become, in many ways, if you go into the suffering mode, who will be there for you? So you should take precautions now. You can have this heart-to-heart sharing with them, and you can see. In fact, that's so you'll be quite surprised when you open your heart and when you share. You'll be quite surprised that that soul can actually get you. They can actually understand you. And this was, again, I'm all about sharing experiences. Both my parents are diabetic, and they've been diabetic for quite some time, even back when I was working or studying back in Malaysia. And both of them have very bad sweet tooth. They both love sweets. And I'm a big time baker. I bake a lot. I used to bake for Diwalis, and then when I was working, I would bake cakes. My company's employees would buy from me. So I love baking. And of course, having two sweet tooth people in the house, they just get absolutely excited when they see sweets. So what I did, I just stopped baking, or I started baking less, and I stopped getting orders outside. And then they were saying, why you're doing? I said, because you can't control yourself. And one time when I was, gonna come here to US, I just sat with both of them and I said that, I really love both of you, and I do care for your health, but I am not going to be here, you know, to be able to keep an eye on you, or to check whether you've taken your medicine, or to keep in tap of what you're eating. I'm not going to be here to do all that. You'll have to do it for yourself. So I told my mom, you have to take care of dad, and dad, you keep on check with mom. But I'm not going to be here to do all that, and I can't be calling you every day to remind you to take medicine. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you go for a walk? No. If you don't want to suffer, then you'll have to start paying attention on your own. I just sat and I spoke with them, and I said, yes, if there is any way that, if I can be of help being in a distance, I would definitely do that. And you can call me, you can talk to me, but you will have to take care of yourself now. And I came to US. Initially, I was feeling guilty that, oh, I've left them behind and came, but also I had my own goals. And my parents, deep down inside, I know that they also want me to be in the spiritual path and want me to surrender my life. But in another side, they are also they became quite dependent on me, because both my siblings are married, they stay separately. So I have been taking care of parents for many years. So and now they have to get independent. They have to take care of themselves. They have to keep track of everything. And while being in a distant here, yes, I would call off and on and see how they're doing. But deep down inside, I know that they are taking initiative. And also in my meditation, I will keep them in front of Baba. And I said, Baba, they are your children. Baba, you know what's best for them. And Baba, you keep an eye on them. You take care of them. Physically, I can't be running there every time, but you are there and you know what help that they would need. And so, Baba, I'm leaving them to you. And so when I started just surrendering them to God, and I say, God, you take care of them, and whatever I need to do from my end, you let me know what I need to do, and I will do. And so the more I started surrendering them to Baba, I have seen their progress in all these years that I'm here in US, that they have become quite good at maintaining their sugar level. Yes, sometimes their temptation would come, they would eat something, and then the next day something happens. But I know that it's not happening frequently. Off and on, they would have their cheat days, and then sometime it gets to them. But overall, I know that they are quite wise in taking care of themselves. Why? Because I also have in my mind, I have given them that credit. Yes, they are able to do it. And Baba is also with them. And whatever help Baba wants me to do for them, I'm also available to do that. So it's both. One, physically, you also need to make them independent. And two, emotionally, also, you have to make that soul strong, because for a soul to give in to something which that they know is going to be very detrimental to them, it really says something. Because we are all not, we don't eat for our need most of the time, we eat because of emotions. We are all emotional eaters, isn't it? So how can I make that soul strong internally, that the soul is able to make wise decisions and the soul is able to control their emotions? So it's both ways actually, emotional support and physical support. And we also need to have such a big heart actually. Sometimes we need to pull back on the support that we are giving, not because I am being mean, but because when I pull back, they will learn to stand up. You know, we should never make somebody crippled. That is very, very important. Teaching somebody the skill of living, skill of survival. When I'm not there, they should be able to survive, right? It's not always being available for people and doing things for people, but also sometimes I need to pull back and I need to watch what they're doing. And when they know that now they have to defend for themselves, they will stand up. You'll be quite surprised.
I would say I add a couple of things here that when you, I assumed that she has done all those things, what physically needs to be done, and he's still not listening, and his lifestyle. So she has mentioned what is good. I'm sure she must have had a one-to-one talk, explain all the benefits of physical and the medical aspect and everything about the lifestyle. But he's still not listening to that. So two things here, I particularly think here, before even we go to something more, that one thing, always remember this phrase. If a duty becomes desire, it turns into a delight. Have you made your duty a desire? Or you are thinking that I'm doing so much and he's not listening? Number one, because then only he will feel the vibrations of your words will be less, your advice will be less powerful than your radiations are. The reason I'm saying it is that's where the power to tolerate comes, the desire part. When you are in a giving mode, you are not worried about what the results are. You are only looking at yourself because you don't want to suffer from mind, suksma ahankar. Minute arrogance should not touch you. When you think that you are doing something for them and they are still not doing it, that's tied in with expectation. That means you are doing something, expecting something back. That's tied into that. That has not become a desire. Power to tolerate is thanks for the opportunity. So you have an opportunity to help somebody, and in front of you, you have that relative of yours or friend of yours who needs your help, who needs to thinking. And are you having a little bit, think about yourself. Are you having that minute arrogance? Do you feel that you are helping him so much? And that's why I want the results. It's very deep thinking. As soon as that's gone, believe me, he'll turn around. Because we all have the duties to do, and we feel a little bit arrogant in doing the duties. We feel we are better than people around us because we are performing the duty. And that's arrogance, radiates the negative personality, negative aura, without you knowing, it's totally unseen. When you see that little bit, one time, I love Dada Bhagwan sessions, question answer sessions. So I was there and Pujadeep Bhai was answering, and I had that question in my mind, and I got up and I said, when you do so much for your friends and relatives, they still talk bad about you. They're a little still jealous. They find some reason to put you down, right? And then that was the case I was happening and was bothering me. And then 2 sentences he said. He said that there is Sukshma Ahankar somewhere. And he didn't go into too much of the detail. And I didn't comprehend it that quickly at that time. But when I start talking and thinking, those words keep coming to my mind, that advice keep coming to my mind. That there is a little bit of a controlling element here. Your duty has not become a desire. When duty becomes a desire, it turns into a delight. Once it's delight, you're going to radiate the delight. When the delight is radiated, they have no reason not to listen to you. Right now, whenever you say something, they're feeling down. They're in pain. They don't want to listen. They're rebelling. Their ego is coming on their way. A lot of things are happening, and that's why they don't want to. Even though it's very clear cut in your mind that this is the only way to do to yourself, make better. But there is some rejection in our mind. We are radiating some rejection. And so that's what they are responding to. So make a duty your desire. And when it becomes a desire, is when you are in a giving mode, and that's where you're exercising your power to tolerate. Then you will accommodate it, because you are only in a giving mode. Giving mode, you are not expecting anything. And when you are not expecting, not judgmental, nothing happening, then only thing left for you is to do an affirmation. I'm understanding that you must have had all medical talk, explained to him, sitting down, and what Sister Vino says you should definitely do. I agree, that has to be done. But if that is also not working, examine yourself. What are you radiating? Are you radiating your duty as a delight or desire? Then only it will become delight. You have to make sure it's a desire. You have the thing, you think that it's my opportunity to show my goodness, not my arrogance. And that's when you start making difference. And that is a very minute, unseen value. But ponder on it. Ponder on those thoughts. It takes a while and it will sink into you. And then once you do that, you will not expect anything from them. You are only doing it to give, and that's your desire. And now look, watch and see in few months or weeks that radiation of that kind of an energy will change. Definitely.
Okay, so now we are to the end of our
Session.
talk today. So shall we end with the meditation? Yes, Jayshree?
Yeah, no more questions, right? Anybody has any more questions?
Anyone have any other questions? Since I don't see any in the chat box. I guess silence means no.
Good.
Okay.
It's good. They are learning. They're sharing. They're understanding. Very nice. That's good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
now,
we can end it.
okay, so let's go into meditation. And then I would very silently, I will end the session. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email and we'll get back to you. Okay. So. So let me relax, sit back. And again, let me review back whatever I heard today. And let me ask myself, What is that one profound thing that I learned from today's sharing? And how am I going to apply what I learned today in my life? How am I going to use this knowledge that I acquired today to slowly, gradually make a difference in my life with everyone else? Am I ready to do it? Am I ready to practice it? Or is it that just knowing and listening is enough? Am I ready to change? If I am, then let me take this determination right now in this moment that no matter what happens, whatever people say, whatever the circumstances are, I promise to myself that what I learned today will be a conscious practice for me moving forward. Om Shanti.